Italian, sits a massive bronze pine cone. Those initiated into the ancient mysteries know that this represents our pineal gland and the abilities associated with it. The Pope actually carries a staff with a pine cone in it, keeping truth about the pineal very, very close to him. Ancient art, drawings, and writings teach us about this sacred organ, which when activated opens us up to higher levels of reality and expands our awareness of life itself. What we call intuition, our sixth sense, our inner knowing or inner seeing, is easily distinguishable from our five physical senses. It is a type of insight that manifests on levels that we cannot taste, smell, touch, hear, or see. Yet we know we have it, and we have all made decisions based on it. To our analytical left brains, this is hard to accept. The existence of something that we cannot see or sense with our physical senses is usually dismissed as non-existent. However, the unseen and the non-existent are not the same thing. Governments are aware of the existence of phenomena perceivable beyond our five senses and have enlisted programs experimenting and working with the invisible. The U.S. government delves into the unseen via what we call remote viewing, the practice of perceiving events, locations, and other information across distance and across time. A modern-day pioneer in the field of remote viewing, Joe McMoneagle accounts his experiences in his book Mind Track. He says, while serving overseas in the Army in 1970, Joe had a near-death experience that opened him to spontaneous psychic flashes. Later, when tested at SRI International, he was confirmed as a world-class remote viewer, able to correctly perceive and describe previously unknown people, places, objects, or events. As a result, he was recruited for a top-secret military program, codenamed Stargate, to develop and apply remote viewing skills for national security purposes. Predating McMoneagle is F. Holmes Skip Atwater, a counter-spy during the Cold War era, where he used his natural psychic aptitude as a U.S. Army counterintelligence special agent. He also played a key role in the remote viewing intelligence program Stargate. For 10 years, Skip was the operations and training officer for the secret remote viewing program. He recruited and trained an elite cadre of professional intelligence officers to do remote viewing for the Department of Defense and various members of the national intelligence community. He planned, conducted, and reported thousands of remote viewing intelligence collection missions. Another way to describe remote viewing is the deliberate and practiced tapping into of human psychic ability. The word psychic is derived from the Greek psychikos, which means of the soul, or having to do with mind and sensitivity to the unseen. By definition, we are all psychic, some more developed than others, but we are all, without argument, the very definition of psychic, as we all have mind, we all have a life force that animates our bodies, which some call a soul or spirit, and we are all sensitive to the unseen. In fact, we rely on the unseen for most of our existence and experience. For example, our emotions and thoughts are connected to us, they are a part of us, yet we don't see them, they are invisible to our physical senses. We feel and think them. The physical manifestation of the thought or emotion can only be seen once expressed through some physical movement, behavior, action, or spoken. There's more else.
That's great. Wow. A lot of information.
Yeah, cool stuff, right?
That's great.
I just have a question. The water is not fluoridated, right?
On Long Island, no.
Oh, that's
Suffolk County water doesn't have fluoride in the tap.
That's why.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot.
That's
It's like
great,
60% of the country does have fluoridated tap water. That's why.
Is it okay to drink the tap water? Because I don't drink the tap water.
Here in Long Island, it's okay.
It's okay?
Well, I mean, it has other crap in it, like
It is
chlorine
okay?
and stuff, but it doesn't have fluoride in it.
Okay, it doesn't have fluoride. Huh?
Because just for the vitamin, the minerals, it's, I balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tap water's fine, but it just, fluoride is in a lot of. I was in CVS the other day and looking at bottled waters, and there was infant water with added fluoride. I was like,
So the fluoride destroys the pineal gland,
it does. Fluoride was given to prisoners, and
which is a psychic center.
it dumbs people down. It makes you really complacent, and it, just like it said, it builds up. It builds up in the pineal. It really shuts down your neurological functions.
Does it numb people?
It can have that type of effect,
Okay.
like a dumbing down. Numbing
Okay.
down, yeah.
Huh.
Well, and maybe it has to do more with all the forgetfulness.
Uh-huh.
Could be.
We are. I wonder if that's how they've managed to make humanity sleep.
Huh?
Yeah. I use the Tom's of Maine or.
Well, and the toothpaste is not so bad because you're not ingesting it.
Okay.
You're just brushing and spitting it out.
What kids?
Some kids do.
Oh, I've known a kid who
Yeah.
who ate the sparkly blue toothpaste
It says it right on the thing, like, call poison control if you.
because it tasted minty, you know.
But this tastes like candy.
No. If
Even
it-
candy.
just because it tastes good doesn't mean it's good for you.
I
What
used
is
to
wrong
eat
with you, Johnny?
Vicks.
But
It just degrades the brain faculties.
okay.
Your
Uh-huh.
faculties.
Uh-huh.
Just avoid it if you can.
Yeah.
I just have one more question.
Yeah.
I'm very
I'll do my
interested
best,
in
I
the
don't,
pineal. No, it talked about the chemical that it released.
DMT.
DMT, and that's also
Dimethyltryptamine.
in marijuana.
That's in everything. DMT is in every living
Everything.
thing. It's in a blade of grass.
And so
People
here's
who
what's
make it as
interesting,
a
how they
drug
make it
extracted from grass.
illegal, and yet our bodies produce it. It's almost
Oh,
yeah.
again like they want to keep us from something.
Uh-huh.
Hey, nobody said the government works forward.
No.
Mm.
Just look how different things are. People actually work backwards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all backwards.
Mhm.
Think about it. The Constitution specifically says that people should be afraid, that the government should be afraid of its people, not the other way around. And people are.
Yeah, that's where it's
Well, we're all seeing, we're all develop, we're seeing, and because the veil is being lifted and everything is coming to the forefront, so we could see and it could heal, and and also
What?
I blame the movies.
and also have fun with the healing, yeah.
Although a lot of movies are depicting
Fear,
Well, they have the
But,
fear
um,
movies,
the fear movies,
there's
but a
a
lot
lot
of
of hidden
hidden
Yeah. Like if you watch the
revelations.
Revelations.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Matrix is a
Revelations.
good metaphor
Wanting us
for
to-
Yes.
this life.
Yeah, huh?
Vendetta was
The
another good one
Matrix.
too.
Which one? Oh, yeah,
V for
yeah.
Vendetta. That was a
Okay.
great one. I like that. Because he used the symbolism of a mask that belonged to a guy named Guy Fawkes. So actually, if you read if you could actually find it online, Guy Fawkes was actually a general, and he was a well-respected general. And what happened was that he was known by a lot of kings, and he retired honorably. And he went to a bar one day, and his friend just saw him. He said, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, listen, I got two friends over there. You see them? Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a plan." So his friend tells him the plan, and he decides to go with it. And he speaks to the other guys, and they're talking about blowing up Parliament because they feel that the government's being too corrupt and has forgotten that its power comes from the people. And they've decided that their power actually comes from themselves, and they stop looking out for the people. So their whole plan was to actually use one of the guys was a security guard for the tunnels under Parliament. So what they did was they stocked up gunpowder, and after that they just traded shifts, guard shifts. So one day, this guy that was spying on them told the king, and the king sent people down to investigate. But they didn't catch anybody there because nobody was on guard duty. They just found the gunpowder. The next day they went back and Guy Fawkes was there. So what they did was they arrested him. And they beat him and they actually arrested him and beat him all the way up to sunset after they had broken every bone in his body trying to find out who were the other three.
Is that a true story?
Yeah. When they couldn't get the information from him, they called everybody in the town and they hung him in front of everybody. And they actually made a poem that said, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why it should ever be forgot. And they figured that if they hang him in front of everybody, people would be afraid to stand up for his government.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it had the opposite effect because later on, Parliament ended up losing its power due to the fact that all the rebellion.
Wow.
It does have the opposite effect. Because you see somebody's willing to die for like truth or whatever.
Exactly. Like he says, that's why I like Pete Vendetta because he said you can kill a person, but ideas are bulletproof.
That's true.
You can only
They're
kill
intangible. They can't be.
Exactly.
That's very well written.
You can only kill a man. You can't kill an idea.
Can't kill the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they thought that it was going to work to make an example in front of the whole town, it ended up doing the opposite. It's just sometimes, because it's as people, it's in our nature to be self-destructive. That's why
It's in our human nature.
That's why we have so much. That's why every generation will always see war, because that's just how things are.
Yeah, I don't believe it's in our human nature to be self-destructive. I believe when you look at a little baby, you know, that's pure being in the moment,
Present, yeah.
pure awareness.
Yeah.
It's there. And as the baby grows up, the adults get their little, you know, fingers in there. No, this is right, this is wrong. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you have us.
Yeah.
You know, and so now, you know, you meet someone or somehow you cross a path and you go, oh wow, it's about remembering.
Yeah.
And thus begins the work,
Yeah.
you know, and so it's always about remembering, and there's constant forgetting, and you know, then all the storytellings, you know. So I think as we come closer in contact with who we really are, there's no such thing as self-destructiveness. We want to embrace it, to love. And that's what I shouldn't say there, because now there goes a separation thing. But,
There.
you know, the powers that be would like us to believe that we are separate, that we're powerless.
Right.
And I think the more we come together in this
Yeah.
kind of conversation, you know, more powerful we become. And I love people like Gandhi, you know, Buddha, Jesus, all those people that spoke their truth and were persecuted, you know.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite, I was during his time, I saw it, yeah, it was on the news.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Martin Luther King.
John Lennon.
John
Yeah.
Lennon.
All of them, like all of them who had like a big impact on the world.
Imagine.
Yeah.
But I think it's so
That's we are. Yeah.
I would have to throw JFK out there only
Yeah.
because he was thinking about ending segregation. That's why they shot him.
How he was thinking about doing a lot of things that they didn't like.
The simple fact that he gave Martin Luther King the audience in the White House just
Yeah,
not
shut down
give
the Fed. He
everything.
wanted to do like.
It's like, yeah, you just gave a black man the right to be in the White House.
That was big then.
That was the biggest issue right there that I think just signed his death warrant. Just saying.
Abraham Lincoln too, the whole slavery.
Yeah.
Did anyone see that movie Lincoln?
I did not see it, but
No, I wanted to see it.
It was like Daniel Day-Lewis like deserves that Oscar. Like he was so good. Like they truly showed the struggle that Lincoln supposedly went through. Like with not like with the Congress and all that stuff within himself that he was battling.
Depression.
Like to truly like change the nation at that time. Like he was truly battling something inside himself that was reflecting onto the nation. Like his own prejudices and his own issues that he had to deal with. And like his wife, everyone is telling him different things, and he truly had to, like, they portrayed that very well. I thought that he had to make this decision and come to his own conclusion and change the world.
Just go
Yeah,
against
it
the
was so
grain.
good. Exactly, yeah.
That's what we're doing. One, have you guys heard of this quote? We are the ones we've been waiting for. I was out in Ashland, Oregon, visiting my brother, David, and I was just going for a run, and I saw him like one thing that I want to do is I want to paint a huge mural, but I don't know where to paint it, you know. But a mural.
Go to the South Bronx.
Yeah.
Okay there.
But I went for a run, and